Hey guys, welcome back to Fin Scales and Fluffy Tails. My name is Bryn and this is Pascal, and today we are going to be talking to you guys about the large dog breeds that I considered for my family but decided against. So I have said this in previous videos, I am definitely a small dog person and my fiance is too. Now this doesn't mean that I don't like large dogs. I actually really do like large dogs. The only thing is, ever since I started working at a dog daycare facility, I realized just how much work they are. And I'm not saying that, little dogs are less work, because I still believe that every dog, no matter its size, should be trained properly and socialized properly, but big dogs are definitely in a league of their own. But I guess first I'll talk about why I considered large breeds. So the plan for our family was to always have 2 dogs. I always wanted 2 just because I don't think really one's enough. So our plan was, while we're living in a smaller space, we'll have a small dog, because me and my fiance both really like small dogs. He actually prefers small dogs even before I knew for sure that I did. So then for our second dog, we really wanted to get a larger breed, or at least I did. Mainly because I wanted a dog that I could be super active with and I wanted to do dog sports. I wanted to try agility, dock diving, possibly obedience. And at the time, I didn't think that I could do that with a small breed. So I was looking into hypoallergenic large breed dogs so that Alex and I would have some options when we thought we were ready for a large breed. Even if we did want to get a large breed, we definitely wouldn't have one in this house, mainly because our house is only 1,300 square feet, but you can definitely have a large breed if you really want to in a small space. The only problem is we don't really have a yard and we don't have a fence around our yard. So our backyard is basically almost non-existent. We do have a small front yard, but like I said, no fence or anything, no privacy. So the house that we're living in right now really isn't the best, we thought, for a large breed. However, after doing some more research and getting some more actual life experience, we've decided against large breeds mostly altogether. I really don't think we're gonna be getting a large breed at any point, just because we now know that we prefer small dogs. However, I still really like all the breeds on my list. They're not very many. In the last video I made, there were 8 dogs on the list, 8 small breeds that we considered and decided against. And there's another one that I really wanted that I knew we couldn't have because he's allergic to it. But this video is about the large breeds. So as you can see, mostly me, I did a ton of research before picking the 2 breeds I thought would fit our family the most. And also, by the way, I have Pascal with me because I don't really have a background or anything. You know, some YouTubers have like this really cool background and that's where they film all the time, but I don't have that. But Pascal is pretty cute and interesting, so I thought she would want to help me. Also, she is perfectly fine. She does this all the time. She's not dying, she's not dead. I know it looks weird when they stand straight up like that, but we've just come to accept her weirdness. Anyway, let's get to the video. So, I've been researching larger breeds for a while, probably close to 1.5 to 2 years by now. Well, maybe not 2 years, at least a year to 1.5 years. And the first breed that I considered getting was the standard Schnauzer. Now, if you guys watched my last dog video, you will know that we did consider getting a miniature Schnauzer for our family. And then I think we considered the miniature first, and then after that I was like, I really want something bigger, so why don't we look into the standard Schnauzer? So all of the breeds on my list are hypoallergenic. They're considered hypoallergenic because they are low shedding. And the standard Schnauzer is no exception. Just like the miniature Schnauzer, they were bred in Germany, but the standard Schnauzer was the first of the Schnauzers to be developed. So the standard Schnauzer came first, and then the giant Schnauzer was bred up from the standard, and the miniature Schnauzer was bred down from the standard. But I don't know after the standard which dog came next, the miniature or the giant. But all three breeds were bred and developed in Germany, and the standard Schnauzer in particular is shown in the working group. So if you watch a dog show, all the standard Schnauzer will be in the working group of dogs. They were bred to herd and just be general farm working dogs. So they're natural herders. They have a hard wire coat that has to be hand stripped. So as far as grooming, if you want to keep that hard wire texture, you will have to hand strip your dog either by using your fingers to pull the loose hairs out, or you will have to use a stripping knife. And if you don't want to learn to do it yourself, you will have to take them to a professional groomer to be stripped. So that is something to think about. I've never looked into this, so I don't know exactly how many groomers around actually know how to hand strip a dog. So it might be difficult to find someone in your area depending on where you live. The two colors that are allowed to be shown in the standard Schnauzer is the salt and pepper, so like gray and white, and solid black. Salt and pepper, that color is much more common, I believe, in the United States than solid black. It's not like we don't have solid black Schnauzers, but they're harder to find as far as puppies go. At least that's what I found, because I was in at least one standard Schnauzer group. I think I left now because I knew I wasn't going to get that breed. But while I was in that group, there were a lot of people looking for solid black standard Schnauzers, and some people were having trouble finding a puppy. They are super smart, alert, and strong, and stubborn. Super stubborn. This is a breed that is going to be, you will have to be the boss. Now, I'm not talking about pack leader or alpha. I'm talking about you will have to lay down the rules and keep with those rules. You cannot give them an inch because they will take a mile, which is basically what I've come to find out about this breed. They don't always necessarily want to please you, so that's something you have to keep in mind. Actually, they may have a common ancestor with the Pinscher, the German Pinscher, mainly because originally the standard Schnauzer was called the wire-haired Pinscher, which obviously we know now that they're not Pinschers, but that's their original name, so people think that they could have had a common ancestor with the Pinscher. So yeah, as far as grooming and training, if you get their coat hand stripped, I don't think they need to be like brushed a lot unless you keep their legs really long. They're gonna have a long beard unless you trim it off, and they usually have the eyebrows to like cut to make them look super regal. In the United States, the show dogs, their ears are cropped and their tails are docked. For working ability, they used to be herders. So the reason why they docked the tail was to protect it, because originally, way back when this breed was being developed, like hundreds of years ago, veterinary medicine was basically non-existent. So if the tail got really hurt or crushed or broken, it would have caused the dog way more pain as an adult to have it removed, because they didn't really have anesthesia for dogs, and it would have been super painful. So they docked the tail for that reason. And I do know, I'm not sure if this was in Germany, but I do know that the reason why some dogs had docked tails was because if they were a working dog, the owner of the dog didn't get an extra tax. So that is another reason as well, and so that is just the traditional look. I'm not sure why they cropped the ears, probably to make them look more intimidating, against like maybe other farm animals or other people who came along. But I'm not sure about the cropped ears, but I know about the docked tail. As far as the weight and height for this breed, let's see, males are 18.5 to 19.5 inches tall at the withers, and they weigh 35 to 50 pounds. And females are 17.5 to 18.5 inches tall, and they weigh 30 to 45 pounds. And the life expectancy for this breed is 13 to 16 years. So this is a very athletic breed. They want to be active. You will need to give this breed a job. If they don't have a job, they're gonna find one, and you might not like it. So that's another reason. You know, this breed just seemed super headstrong, and I was really interested in a dog that wanted to please me a little more. So that's another reason that I kind of like went away from this breed, but I think they are beautiful. I mean, when I was thinking about getting this dog, I could picture myself getting a male or a female. I really liked their look, their activity level, but then, you know, another thing is they would have probably also had a harder time living with Daisy, a house rabbit. I did message a breeder before asking her about that, and she did think it would be very hard for the dog to actually get along with the rabbit unless you raise them together from when the time the dog was a puppy. But you know, it's still a risk you have to weigh, and we just didn't want to take that risk. So the next breed that I was thinking about getting, which is a little bigger than the standard Schnauzer, is the standard Poodle. So the standard Poodle was also bred and developed in Germany, and poodles, especially the standard, were originally bred as a hunting dog and a water retriever. So these were originally gun dogs. So now in the AKC, they're shown in the non-sporting group because today they're not really used for that, which that's kind of what the non-sporting group is, like dogs that maybe had a job in the past but don't have a job now. Standard poodles today are mostly bred for companionship, but there are some people who still hunt and work with their standard poodle. So that is definitely something to think about. They have a thick, profuse, curly coat. If you get a poodle and you keep their hair, when I say at any length, I mean long. So it doesn't even have to be that long for you to have to brush it every day, but standard poodles need to be brushed with a slicker brush and a metal comb down to the skin every single day, unless you clip them super short. So unless you keep them in a Miami clip all the time, you'll need to brush every day. And even with the Miami clip, if you keep the tail long, the pom-poms on the legs, and the ears and head long, you will have to brush that every single day, or else you will have a very matted, very unhappy poodle. So as far as their show coat goes, a lot of people think that poodles are sissy dogs because of the show coat that they have. And that is the reason why they have that coat is, first off, it's just to show off the coat quality and texture, which is why they grow it out long and put it like that. But originally that cut was used while the dogs were working. The hair was left around the vital organs. The two pom-poms on the back were to cover the kidneys. The tail was left long to protect the tail, and they had pom-poms around their joints, and that was to keep certain places warm while giving the dog more mobility in the water by shaving the other places down. So that is what that coat was originally used for. And then of course in the show ring, people have like, what am I trying to say? They have made it more gaudy. So they took it from the original sporting clip and then made it more fancy just for show. But that coat really does help show off the coat quality and texture, which is one thing they're looking for during shows. So the colors that I know are allowed to be shown in AKC is as follows. Of course, you have your solid colors, the white, black, and red. And when I say red, there's many different variations of red because many reds fade. So if you get a red standard poodle puppy, it's probably gonna come like deep red. But then by the time it's a year old, it's probably gonna lighten to what they call like an apricot or a cream. So many reds fade over time, their coat gets lighter. And then silvers are allowed to be shown, and I believe blues as well. Now, as far as party poodles, party colored poodles are not allowed to be shown in AKC conformation events. And in my previous videos, when I say these colors are not allowed, I meant they're not allowed to be shown in events. I do believe you can register party poodles with the AKC, but if you want to show your party poodle, they must be registered with the UKC, which is the United Kennel Club, and party poodles are accepted in shows in Europe, but not really in the AKC, which is the main kennel club here in the US. There's a couple other colors too, like I think Brindle and maybe Phantom, but I don't really know much about the other colors because the colors that I was looking into was white or black for the standard poodle. Standard poodles are active, alert, intelligent, and agile, and they actually rank second in order of intelligence right after the Border Collie. So the Border Collie is like the smartest dog on planet Earth. We all know that. And then poodles, all varieties, not just standards, are ranked second to the Border Collie, which is really awesome. The standard poodle was the first of all varieties. There are 3 official sizes of poodle. The standard was the first one, then the miniature, and then the toy is the smallest. And they are a very, very old breed. They've been around forever. And the reason why lots of people think that they come from France is because during the 1700s, many French nobles and aristocrats had toy poodles as pets, and they were like their favorite dog. So that's why people think that they're French, but they actually originally came from Germany. The reason that I really wanted to get a standard poodle in the first place was because I wanted, like I said, I wanted to do dog sports, which included agility and dock diving. Where Alex and I live, we live near a ton of lakes, so we would definitely be able to practice dock diving a lot because there's literally water here everywhere. So I really wanted to get a standard poodle because I wanted to do those dog sports, and they're super smart, they want to learn, and I wanted to give them a job, and they would be easier to train, at least in my opinion, than the standard Schnauzer. Now they are a bit bigger, so the standard poodle has to be over 15 inches at the withers. That's what makes them a standard, is their height. The males weigh between 60 and 70 pounds, and the females weigh between 40 and 50 pounds. And their life expectancy is 10 to 18 years, so pretty long life. Of course, all dogs are going to have health problems. With standard poodles, you really have to watch out for Addison's disease. Good breeders will test for that in their lines. So if you want a standard poodle, don't go to a backyard breeder, don't go to a puppy mill. Make sure you go to a good breeder, and in my opinion, the best breeders are show breeders. Even if you don't want to show your dog, the best place you could get a dog from for any of these breeds is an AKC show breeder. So standard poodles are amazing. I work with one at the dog daycare that I work at. She is very nice to people, kind of a bully though in the playroom, but I don't think that's necessarily true for all standard poodles. But they're super smart. Of course, grooming is gonna be a huge thing. You need to brush this dog every day if you keep their coat longer than shaved. So also, if you don't want to do the grooming yourself or learn how to do it yourself, you will have to pay someone to do it. And especially if you have more than one standard poodle, it's going to cost a lot. Standard poodles, depending on where you live, I heard of some people, like every groom, their dog costs $100. It's $100 every 4 to 6 weeks plus tip. Remember, you have to tip your groomer and usually tip 20%. So $120 every 6 weeks to get your poodle clipped and bathed and blow dried, especially if you want the shaved face, the shaved feet, the blown out coat, because poodles have a curly coat. But my favorite look, and lots of people's favorite look, is when the curls are straightened. So that's called fluff drying. They actually have to really work with the coat, and while it's wet, they're brushing it with the slicker and drying it at the same time, and that's what straightens the curls. But that process takes so long. So just remember that if you want a standard poodle, grooming is gonna be a big cost. And the last breed I have on my list is kind of similar to the poodle. It's actually kind of like the grandfather of all water dogs, and this breed is called the Lagotto Romagnolo. This is, like I said, it's the oldest breed of all water dogs. They believe that all water dogs that we have today are descended from the Lagotto Romagnolo. This breed was bred and developed in Italy, and it has a profuse curly coat just like the poodle. However, this dog is definitely supposed to look more rugged. So like I said with poodles, they fluff dry the coat and straighten out the curls. You do not do that with a Lagotto. You keep their curls, their look is supposed to be stocky. Their bodies are kind of stocky, and they're supposed to keep that curl. You never shave a Lagotto face or their paws or anything. They have a very specific cut that they need, and if you're a Lagotto owner or looking into this breed and you like the Lagotto look, you're probably going to have to learn how to do it yourself, because if you take a Lagotto to a groomer, they're probably going to make it look like a doodle, which, if you're a Lagotto owner, you'll probably get tired of people thinking your dog is a doodle, because most people, when they see Lagottos, because this breed is so rare, they think it's a doodle when they see it on the street. So just be prepared for that. But you're not supposed to brush this dog every day. So like I said, poodles need to be line brushed with a slicker and a metal comb. Lagottos take less grooming, so of course you need to keep up with them, but it's not every single day. I would say every 2 to 3 days you need to go through and comb out the mats and make sure you're getting some of the knots out. But you definitely don't have to brush and comb them every single day. If you do that, you probably will not ruin the coat, but you'll brush the curls out, and then they won't look like a Lagotto anymore. So originally, the Lagotto Romagnolo was a gun dog and water retriever. Back where they were being developed, it was very swampy, very marshy, and people used them as gun dogs, just like we used to use labs and stuff like that. But eventually they drained the wetlands, and this breed almost went extinct. But then people who really loved the breed decided to train them for a new purpose. And today, the Lagotto Romagnolo is the only dog specifically trained and bred to be a truffle hunter. So many people in the western United States, especially the Northwest, where truffles actually grow here, they actually use Lagottos to hunt for truffles, and lots of people do this in Italy as well. So that's really cool that they were able to stick around, because we gave them a new job basically. They're a medium-sized dog, and they are shown in the sporting group if you watch a dog show. They're definitely smaller than the standard poodle. Males are 17 to 19 inches at the withers, and females are 16 to 18 inches at the withers. And males weigh 28.5 to 35 pounds, and females weigh 24 to 31 pounds. The life expectancy of the Lagotto is 15 to 17 years, so super long life. Another thing that you will find out is that part of the reason why these dogs are really good truffle hunters is because they love to dig. Love it. I was in a Lagotto Romagnolo group for probably almost a year, and people were always commenting about how their dog was digging holes in their yard and they didn't know how to get him to stop destroying their flower beds. So keep that in mind when you get a Lagotto. They're gonna love to dig. So if you want to protect your flowers, you probably need to go outside with them every time to make sure that they are not digging where you don't want them to. And some people actually do give them like a sandbox or a dig box so that they can actually dig outside and not ruin their stuff. But Lagottos are pretty trainable. They do want to please you. As far as smarts go, so they're not quite as smart as the standard poodle, but they're still a really good breed. Probably would be really great for dock diving. Most Lagottos love water. You can't keep them out of the water most of the time. There's always exceptions to that rule. Even some individual water dogs don't really like water, but that's another reason I was really, I really liked the Lagotto Romagnolo and the standard poodle, is because they love water and I love water, and I wanted a dog to love water with me. Now, the reason why I moved to the Lagotto after the standard poodle was because Lagottos are slightly smaller, and I really just wanted a medium-sized dog. So not a dog that was too big, but like I said before, there's only 3 sizes of poodle, and the standard, of course, is the biggest, and then the next size down is the miniature poodle, and they only weigh like, I want to say 10 to 15 pounds or 10 to 18 pounds or something. So I thought that was a little small. So I wanted a dog, if I was going to get a bigger dog, I wanted a dog to be a bit bigger but not too big. So I wanted an actual medium-sized breed, which is why I was looking into the Lagotto. I guess that is all the large breeds I considered. So I considered the standard Schnauzer, the standard Poodle, and the Lagotto Romagnolo. All 3 of these breeds are super awesome breeds. I have just decided that I would rather be not knocked down or bruised or hurt or jumped on until the dog matures, because that's kind of the reality with big dogs. They do have the ability to hurt you, and of course they don't mean to. They're not trying to be mean or anything, but they probably will at some point by accident. And I started doing a little bit more research, and I found out that I could get a very similar dog to these dogs in a smaller package, which is why the 2 breeds that we considered that we are getting are small dogs. We are actually on the waiting list for these 2 breeds, but I'm not going to go into them in this video because I want to make a video specifically about them on their own. But I will definitely be explaining the reasons why we got those 2 breeds in a separate video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and tuning in and listening to me talk about dogs. I don't know, I guess it's kind of weird for me to be making dog videos even though I don't have one yet, but I was just too excited that I couldn't wait. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Finscales and Fluffy Tails. And please, if you really like my content, if you want to stick around, hit that subscribe button down below. Me, Pascal, and Daisy, and Gimli would really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you in the next one.